Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Caboodle. Zebec Network held an X Spaces earlier this week to provide the community with an update on its latest developments. Stick around as I share with you my key takeaways from that interview with Simon, the CEO.
It's time to stretch your noodle with Crypto Caboodle.
You know, Simon mentioned something early on in an interview that's important for us as crypto investors to remember. He brought up use case and how Zebec is involved in payments and how the crypto industry has been around long enough for us to know that payments is one of the number one use cases as far as the technology, how it's being used. And so he wanted us to know that Zebec is focused on real world utility, and that's important. This isn't some meme coin or some gamble or futures bet. This is a real investment in a real company that has real use case. He let us know that the company is thriving, building, shipping, and signing partners every week. Signing partners every week. That's amazing. Remember when Ripple was signing partners every week? You know, Zebec is doing exactly what Ripple was doing. I don't mean to keep bringing up Ripple in a Zebec video. It's just that Ripple did things the right way and continue to do so, and I see Zebec doing the same thing.
You're seeing a lot of the narratives and noise of the past die out, and you're seeing the real long-term use case of crypto finally becoming crystal clear. And that use case is payments. Zebec is not going anywhere. In fact, we're thriving. We are building, we are shipping, we're signing new partners every week. And our business and ecosystem is solely focused on real world utility. And that's what matters at this point in the cycle.
Simon was asked what he thought about the mergers and acquisitions that have been taking place within the industry. He was asked about Coinbase and Ripple and what he thought about it and whether or not he considered them to be competition. And he basically said, no, they're not competition. They're confirmation, because mergers and acquisitions is something that Zebec has been doing for a while now, right? Zebec started acquiring companies back in 2023 and has since then acquired 4 more. So they're just doing what Zebec has been doing in order to get a foothold here within the fintech industry. Remember, they merged with payroll to bring us real-time instant pay. They merged with GateKnox for know your customer, anti-money laundering compliance. They acquired Science Card, which connected UK students to real-time payments. So they're definitely using the mergers and acquisition strategy to grow the business.
The recent M&A activity that we've been seeing in the space has been a validation of our thesis in so many different ways. This is not competition, rather it's confirmation. The same institutions that people once doubted are now validating blockchain's core thesis. As we've seen through this recent spree of acquisitions, when Wall Street starts building, they don't reinvent the wheel. Rather, they integrate with existing rails. This is exactly the same strategy that Zebec has pursued years before anyone else in the game was even doing it.
Ben asked Simon what he meant when he said that Zebec was at the intersection of Wall Street and Web3. Simon said that Zebec is a payment infrastructure layer that powers a real fi economy. And what this basically means is Zebec provides the foundational technology for processing payments and enabling real fi, which is real world finance, enabling real fi economy by allowing value to flow continuously and in real time on blockchain infrastructures rather than delayed batch settlements. You know, everything is real time, instant.
Nice. I know you said before, Simon, that Zebec sits at the intersection of Wall Street and Web3. Can you start to unpack now what that actually looks like right now, especially with everything shifting towards stablecoin infrastructure, for example?
Definitely. Well, Zebec has never been a speculative project. We are a payments infrastructure layer that powers the real-time economy. And as we transition TradFi from systems of the past to what we call digitized finance, stablecoins are becoming the backbone of global blockchain activity. And Zebec's product suite already does what most of these new institutional blockchains are trying to replicate. The beauty of our rails is that they can plug into nearly any chain.
Simon also just announced that Zebec is now deployed on the Circle Arc testnet. The testnet is where you test out your products before deploying it to the live blockchain. Along with Zebec, there are also 100 plus other industry players doing the same thing. And this is great news because once all of them are deployed to the Live Circle blockchain, all of those industry players will then be connected to the Zebec's services, real-time payments, the payment cards, payments and remittances services, or any other financial transactions on the Zebec network.
And we just announced this week that we're deploying on Circle's ARC testnet, which would mark what I believe is the 19th chain connected to the Zebec ecosystem. So we're growing incredibly fast, and we truly believe in a multi-chain future. Now, Circle's technology and the USDC stablecoin are core to our programmable money architecture. And the launch of Circle's first layer 1 chain through the ARC will allow Zebec to connect to 100 and more institutions which are currently on the testnet. And these institutions will now be able to connect directly with Zebec's real-time flows, whether that is for payroll streaming, card issuance, remittance, or any financial transaction on our network.
With the Genius Act being passed and the market structure bill about to be passed, it's clear that stablecoins are here to stay. It's something that we're invested in, a company whose business model is based on transferring value using stablecoins from multi-chains, and our Congress is currently writing laws to make sure that happens. Who would have ever thunk it? And that's what Simon was talking about. He said firms are now racing to be leaders in the stablecoin arena, and that Zebec is positioned to benefit from this. As adoption rises, demand for Zebec products will also rise.
In many ways, we're seeing a race amongst firms to be leaders in the stablecoin arena. You can draw parallels to prior technological waves like the internet boom of the 90s or the space race of the 1960s. We're now on the precipice of a once-in-a-lifetime digitization of traditional finance. Through stablecoins as the primary means of transacting and tokenization of all forms of assets. And Zebec, as an infrastructure provider, is positioned to benefit from this boom, which makes things so exciting for all of us here on the team today.
Simon announced that Zebec is now officially MiCA licensed. That means that they're now MiCA compliant, SOC 2 compliant, and will soon to be ISO 20022 compliant by the end of the year. This opens Zebec up to the European markets along with the US markets. Man, talk about Zebec to $1.
We started our compliance journey this year with our SOC 2 certification over the summer. And now I'm super proud to announce that on the European side of our business, we are officially MiCA licensed in the EU. And we're quickly moving towards achieving ISO 2022 for our payroll payments on compliant blockchains and building interoperability with traditional banking rails.
Simon gave even more clarity as to why it's so important that Zebec has become compliant in the European markets. This means that Zebec is now able to transact with banks, with the Nacha network in the United States, and even globally on the SWIFT network. This means that Zebec is now a real-time payments and remittance network.
Why these standards are so important is that they allow Zebec to achieve its goal of facilitating seamless real-time financial transactions that can be understood by financial institutions. Because if you want to process a payroll at scale, you need to be able to connect to existing institutions which most corporates are already working with. So through these upgrades, Zebec's blockchain rails will be able to connect and communicate with all the banks and processors within the Nacha system in the US and the SWIFT network globally.
Simon also revealed that now that Zebec has become more compliant, the ZBCN token will be listed on a top-tier exchange. So we know that's good news. That's awesome news. I wonder which one it'll be. You think it'll be Coinbase or Binance? We'll see.
And another benefit of these compliance certifications is, of course, our ZBCN token. And you'll see more top exchange listings coming from our token very, very soon, thanks to some of these compliance initiatives that we've now deployed. So when we said, I guess a few weeks ago, that fall is the listing season for us, we really did mean it.
Simon also mentioned that they would be hosting a stablecoin summit spaces and that they would be bringing in leaders from major stablecoin platforms and that they would be discussing the stablecoin industry and also how these stablecoin platforms would be implementing and utilizing the Zebec technology within their ecosystem. I look forward to hearing more.
But in the next 2 weeks, we are hosting a Stablecoin Summit Spaces, and we'll be bringing together leaders from all the major stablecoin platforms and ecosystems to talk about adoption, compliance, and how they are or will connect into the Zebec Network.
Not too long ago in the previous spaces, Simon mentioned that they were speaking with a few of the largest payroll companies in the United States. And at the end of this spaces, he seems to have mentioned it again. He said, we're speaking with some of the largest payroll providers right now about integrating Zebec's technology into their global payroll. This is very significant. This is exciting news. I can't wait to find out what he's talking about.
We're speaking with some of the larger payroll providers right now on actually integrating our real-time streaming technology into their global payroll rail. So these are the sort of things that years ago we would only have dreamed of, to be talking to players like this, let alone working directly with them. And it really shows you how the world has just woken up to stablecoins in a very short period of time. So that's what's keeping us all, super motivated and super excited here as we're building, the future of Zebec.
Okay, guys, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching. Please give me a like, follow, and subscribe. Talk to you soon.
Bitcoin was first breaking the mold. Now it's called digital gold. Decentralized finance, the future is here. Blockchain buzz kicks